It's that time again. This week is all about time. Mrs. R had reminded me that years ago we had done something in the surrealistic format by an artist whose one of his most famous paintings had something to do with one of the tools that you would use to measure time. What tool? He's a very unusual character. His name's Salvador Dali. He's from Spain. That's where he was born. And I can think of two artists who were very bizarre, very wild kind of characters. This is what he looked like. Can you see him? And actually, he even would wear a mustache that was even longer than that. But he and I think the other one that would be the most extravagant character would be James Whistler. Totally different style, though. We're talking about surrealism, which means above or beyond real. And he painted beyond real. Now, it's not that he couldn't. I mean, he did paint fairly realistic pictures. I mean, there's one. That's very realistic. But it didn't say as much as he wanted to say. He wanted to go beyond just painting a picture. So, he painted, I hope you can see this. It's called The Persistence of Time. One of his most famous pictures. And if you could tell, he had what they call soft clocks. I call them melty clocks, because he said at one point when somebody asked him about it, you know, what was his inspiration, he said, watching camembert cheese melt in the sun. And that's what he got from that. And I think when he named it the pervasiveness, or persistence rather, of time, of memory, the persistence of memory, he was thinking, because he was very into science and physics, very Einstein. And if you're thinking about something that happened, I don't know, maybe when you were in Disney World or Hershey Park, and you're thinking really hard about that memory, where are you? Are you here? Or are you in your memory? And if you're in your memory, then time melts away. So what we're going to do, here's another one. He did another one with melty clocks. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to make your own melty clock. Now, I'll show you my melty clock, finito. Okay? There's my melty clock. It's just kind of, hanging on a branch. But I cut mine out simply because I wanted to be able to show you that you might put your melty clock on top of the house. But yes, there is a horizon line. And yes, there's a sky and there's ground, for lack of a better idea. And if you're going to make a melty clock, see, this melty clock is melting over the branch of a tree. Wait a minute, I want it that way. There we go. So maybe you make your melty clock hanging over somebody's arm. I don't know. You could have it hanging on a tree, or you could just make a big melty clock. But if you're going to make a melty clock, just the melty clock, I still want a background. I still want a skyline, a horizon line. All right, how are you going to make a melty clock? Well, it's not going to be a simple oval. I'm going to go down. That's where it's melting. And I'm going to make it kind of, if this goes out, then this side goes in. See what I'm doing? All right, now the numbers are in the same place, but they're melting. So my 6 is kind of melting. My 7 would be in the same place, but it's kind of melting. My 8, my 9, my 10 would be melting right over. Can you see where my 10 is melting right over that melty line? Then 11 and 12. All right, that's half of my melty clock done. And then 1 and my 2 and my 3. It's melting. My 4 and my 5. Can you see how all of my numbers are in the right place, but they're all melting? Now, I made it like this because I wanted it over something. I want something, you know, like a branch or something that it's going to be melting over. But if you just want to make, I don't know where I put my other melty clock. I just had it. Arg. But if you just want to make one big melty clock, go for it. I'm really curious to see what your adventure into surrealism is like. Remember, surrealism can be very dreamlike. It doesn't have to be things that can happen in real life. It's like in your dreams, you might be able to fly or drive a car. But in reality, can you really fly or drive a car? I don't think so. But you can make your own melty clock.